Welcome to PlayStation Paradise. The PS2's got just about every type of game you can imagine, and that includes tons of amazing mech games. In this video, I want to take a look at 5 of them that I feel have been overlooked, starting with Robotech Battlecry. The Robotech series is an odd one. It's an original American story created from 3 Japanese anime, mostly from the Mechs series. Creating a new, original Frankenstein story from various Japanese media was pretty common in the 80s. Voltron and Power Rangers are probably the most famous examples. Battlecry was released in 2002 for the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. It has you playing as Jack Archer, a new soldier in the United Earth Forces Army. It's a complicated plot that I won't get into here, but the game's story keeps things pretty simple and is easy to follow. This is largely thanks to seeing things from Jack's perspective. The focus is more so on his journey and not so much the broader conflict. Jack pilots a mech called the Robotech. It can transform into 3 different modes. A fighter jet that behaves how you'd expect. It's very fast and turns the game into something like Ace Combat. You can roll boost and flip around while dogfighting. It's the fastest mode, but it can't turn all that well. The second mode is a full-on walker mech that behaves a lot like a Gundam. It has the opposite trade-offs of the jet mode, lots of maneuverability, but is pretty slow. It's good for close quarters fighting and ground combat. The third mode is a unique in-between. It's sort of a jet, sort of a walker. You can hover and fly slowly, and it bridges the gap between the other 2 modes. All 3 modes use a machine gun or missiles, which can make the combat feel a bit shallow. Despite having 3 different modes, it's very clear which one you'll want to use depending on the mission. Although you're never locked into one or the other, and there's no penalty to switching. As you've probably noticed, the game's got a great art style, thanks to its cel-shaded graphics. It's aged wonderfully and still looks fantastic today. Everything has a very clean, vibrant finish to it, which really makes it pop. It's a great adaptation of an anime's look, this even being before Borderlands popularized cel-shaded graphics, which makes it all the more impressive. I especially love the missile streaks and fire and smoke effects. Sometimes I was half expecting text bubbles to pop up while playing. I don't think they'd be out of place. It even sounds like an 80s anime. The voice acting is also phenomenal, with lots of A-list actors who voice just about anything in gaming and anime.
Sounds great. So, why do they call it Ambush Hills again?
Way too many to go over here, but the biggest names are probably Cam Clark, who played Liquid Snake, Tony Oliver, who plays Lupin III, and Rebecca Forstadt, who voices one of my favorite characters from any media, the obnoxious but always helpful Tachikomas from Ghost in the Shell.
So for the time being, regardless of how much data we accumulate, none of us will ever have a ghost. But for analog-based people like you, Mr. Bato...
When Robotech Battlecry first came out, it got pretty mixed reviews. Most people said it looked great, but the controls felt a little slow, and the levels were kind of empty. I do agree about the levels feeling a bit bare, but the controls? I actually like them. They felt smooth and easy to get used to. So if you want a fast-paced mech game with some of the best graphics and sound on the PS2, it's hard to go wrong with Robotech Battlecry. 2004's Transformers might be the best Transformers game ever made. And honestly, I've never even been a big fan of the series. As a kid, I went the dinosaur route instead. But that might be starting to change now that I've been playing this game. Set in the Transformers Armada universe, 2004's Transformers follows the ongoing war between the Autobots and Decepticons as they battle across Earth to collect powerful artifacts called Minicons. You can play as Optimus Prime, Hotshot, or Red Alert, and each character feels very different. Optimus Prime is slow and heavy, but he has a lot of health. You don't have to worry too much when you play as him. Meanwhile, Hotshot is fast, but has less health. He's great at dodging attacks, but he can't take too many hits. Meanwhile, Red Alert is a mix of the two. He's kind of in the middle, and you can see every character's stats before you start a mission. This third-person shooter's got a lot of little great details. For example, the voices on the mic will change depending on who you're playing as. If you're Optimus Prime, it's Hotshot or Red Alert in the mic. But if you're Hotshot, it'll be Optimus Prime talking to you.
Please respond. Understood.
It helps you feel like you're part of a team. Another cool thing is that every level has teleporters in it. You can use these to switch characters or go back to a spot you already visited. They're very useful too, because the levels are so big, they almost feel open world. There's also collectibles hidden all over. You'll find mini-cons, which are key to the story. They also give you new powers, weapons, and stat boosts. One might give you a rocket launcher, and another gives you a shield. Now, you don't need all of them, but they add a lot of fun to the gameplay, so they're worth collecting. There's also datacons you can find. These guys will unlock extra content like concept art and other bonuses. To help you get around, you can of course transform into a vehicle. Optimus Prime becomes a truck, Hotshot a muscle car, and Red Alert an SUV. It's a very fast and convenient way to get across these huge maps. But the best way to use them? Run over your enemies. It never gets old. Oh, and when enemies blow up, it looks awesome. There's even a physics system for all the flying debris. The controls still feel great, even by today's standards. I had almost no trouble learning how to play, other than L1 being the jump button. It's super easy to pick up and play, whether you're playing for 2 hours or just a quick 15 minutes to hit the next checkpoint. The game also still looks really good. There's lots of trees, plants, and little effects flying around. Honestly, I'm surprised it even runs on a PS2. Now, I did get some slowdown, but I think that's because I'm using the PCSX2 emulator, and Transformers is notoriously difficult to emulate. With that said though, it's still 100% playable, but if you want the best experience, you should play it on real PS2 hardware. Eurogamer called it a near masterpiece. While not perfect, it stays faithful to the source material and really pushes what the PS2 is capable of. Now that's something I pretty much fully agree with. I was really surprised by how much I like this game. Even if you're not a big mech fan, this is just a great shooter. The voice acting is strong, the game looks really good, and the action? It just feels right. It's an easy one to tell people to try if they like action games. My only small gripe, it's not super mech heavy. If you're looking for deep stuff like managing or fixing mechs, you won't find that here. But choosing which minicons to bring, which Autobot to play as, and getting to transform on the fly, that still gives you a little nice mech vibe. So yeah, I think it deserves its spot on the list. Metal Saga is a JRPG so weird that calling it a JRPG doesn't really help. Yeah, it's made in Japan. Yeah, you fight in turn-based battles, walk around towns, and pick up party members, but that's where the similarities end. There's not much story here, but instead of story, the game turns the dial up to 11 on customization and gameplay freedom. Just like a lot of shonen anime, you play as a young guy trying to become a hunter. In this world, that means being part bounty hunter, part adventurer, and part explorer. You travel a post-apocalyptic world, finding out what went wrong, meeting strange and fun party members, some of them are even animals, and then you take on random jobs, hunt monsters, and find gear all over the place. But the real game? It's about tanks. Most of your time is spent finding, building, and upgrading your very own tanks and armored trucks. They're based on real-world machines, but you can make them look and act however you want. So sure, it's not really a mech game exactly, but with this much gear swapping and tweaking, Metal Saga definitely earns a spot on the list. You can pick which party member drives what, then go wild, customizing ammo, engines, turrets, armor type, chassis, and I even painted all my tanks pink, just because I could. There's so much to mess with, this might be the deepest game in this whole video. And it also had one of the best ads for a game ever. There is a story, it's just not what you'd expect from a JRPG. It's light and very flexible, and you can get over a dozen different endings. One of them you can even unlock in like 20 minutes. So if you care more about builds and gameplay than you do plot, Metal Saga might be exactly what you're looking for. Zone of the Enders, the second runner, is the only game on this list that I was kind of bullied into including. It might have had the most comments on my last video. You guys were basically shouting at me that I had to include it. Personally, I think it's a bit too popular to be called a hidden gem, but it's so good I have to talk about it. If you've never played it or somehow have never heard of it, this is me telling you, you gotta give it a try. Despite what some people think, this is actually not a Hideo Kojima game. He worked as a producer, but the real brain behind it is Shuyu Murata. He's been a writer on Metal Gear since Metal Gear Solid 2, and he's even worked on Cyberpunk 2077 and Death Stranding. You might also recognize the art style for the game. It's done by Yoji Shinkawa. That's the guy behind all the art for the Metal Gear series. This is of course also a Konami game, so it has some of the best production you'll see on the PS2. The game has a really slick, comic book look to it. It mixes 2D and 3D in a way that still stands out today. It's stylish and sharp and kinda wild. Unfortunately, the voice acting isn't all that great. It's not bad, it just kinda falls flat, which is a bit surprising considering how polished everything else is.
Shut up.
You play as a man unfortunately named Dingo Egret.
Good job, Dingo.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
He's a former soldier turned space miner who stumbles across the Jehuti. It's an incredibly powerful mech, and of course, he's not the only one who wants it. Zone of the Enders 2, or Zoe 2, has a style of gameplay that's all its own. You mostly fly around in these tight arena areas, fighting huge groups of enemies, but occasionally you'll have a huge boss battle. It almost always runs at 60 FPS, and when it does dip below that, it can actually make the fights feel heavier, like an intentional slow motion. Piloting your mech makes you feel unstoppable, but it's still got some challenge to it. It reminds me of God of War, or even God Hand.
What an evil bitch.
You have a dash, you can fire hundreds of missiles, and I mean, just look at the cockpit.
What the hell?
The controls do feel a little weird at first, but it only takes about an hour to really get into it. And once you do, it just feels perfect. All the mechs are called orbital frames, because I guess no mech game actually wants to just call them mechs. They're kind of like zombie rules like that, I guess. It's weird, I don't get it myself. This probably doesn't even need mentioning, but the game just looks fantastic. It's got a clean, kinda low poly look to it. I think that helps push it to that 60 FPS. I think it works for the mechs too, because they're supposed to have hard edges, so the low poly look kinda works here. Zoe 2 definitely leans into the Japanese mecha style. It's sleek and fast, and definitely sci-fi. It's not like the Western style, which to me feels more slow, industrial, bulky. I also love how this game mixes the 2D portraits and 3D environments. It reminds me kind of Persona, actually. It can make you feel like you're playing an anime, but don't worry, there's no tropes here. There's no characters yelling out their attacks, and almost everyone's an adult. So even if you're not really into anime, I think this game's an easy sell. Also, it got a remaster. There's an HD collection that you can get on PC, PlayStation, and even the Xbox. Since this is a sequel, you might be wondering if you need to play the first game first. The short answer is no. The first game had some cool ideas, but it just wasn't all that fun. It wasn't as good as Zoe 2 is, which is faster, smoother, and just way better overall. So skip the first game and just play Zoe 2. The story is all self-contained too, so you're not really missing anything. Zoe 2 got great reviews when it came out, but people did have some complaints. Mainly its short length. It's maybe about 5 hours long. I think back then it was a bigger problem, but now it's perfect. It's like a weekend game. There's also a New Game Plus mode, so you can replay it with new skins and all your sub-weapons unlocked. Now the game's not perfect, you can't customize your mech, and Jehuti is the only one you get. So if you like games with tuning, building, swapping parts, then this might not be the game for you. But if you're into fast action and don't mind a shorter game, then I really can't recommend this one enough. It's not just a great mech game, it's one of the very best games on the PS2. I've personally loved it since I played it back in the day, and somehow it just gets better with time.
All enemies have been cleared.
Honestly, I don't even know where to begin with Steel Lancer Arena International, beginning with the name. It's a PS2 exclusive sequel to an Xbox exclusive game called Phantom Crash. I don't know any other game like that. Along with Zone of the Enders 2, I got a ton of comments telling me I have to talk about this game, and now I can see why. It has a small but super dedicated fan base. So anyway, I'll do my best to explain what this game is and why you should, or maybe shouldn't, play it. It's 2070, and the whole world has fallen in love with a new sport called rumbling, which is a weird way to say mech battles in different arenas all around the world. You play as a newbie to the sport, and you'll work your way up to become the highest rated rumbler in the world. There's a bunch of different mechs to choose from, and different countries sell different types of mechs. You can also customize them a ton, of course. So if you like customization, like the Armored Core series, then this might be the game for you. All the mechs have tons of different stats to keep track of, but that's not even the half of it. The world is split into 8 cities, I believe: Tokyo, New York, Cairo, and each city has a daily battle event. You can fight in the battle, but that'll eat up a day. Or you can travel to a new city, which also eats up a day. And see, the eating up the day part, the game has like a date system, but you don't have to worry too much about it, but it's worth noting. You'll also need to use AIs to help boost your mech's abilities, and the AIs are represented by animals. I don't know why. This game is so weird. Also, to be upfront, of course, I haven't finished it, so I'm sure I'm missing a lot of information here. In my defense, there's just so much here. It's a really deep game, but don't let that scare you, because it does a decent job at showing you the ropes. There's also a stock market system, a mech renting system, the AIs I mentioned, and an overarching story. But I haven't even gotten to the combat, which is also pretty dang complicated. Just to sum it up quickly, you fight in these big arenas, and you take more damage from the back than you do the sides or the front of your mech, so you can think of it like a tank. You can also go invisible, but so can the enemies, so you'll often have to look around and actually physically see them, and then try to hit them with non-lock-on weapons to knock them out of stealth. But, of course, they can do the same to you. Once you defeat enough of them, the boss appears. You can also leave the arena at any time and come back later, if you want to heal up or just take a break. I understand so much about SLAI, as it's sometimes called, but I also feel like I understand so little. And I know that might be frustrating to hear. Trust me, it is for me too. And I feel like I'm just talking in circles when I try to describe this game. But what I'm trying to say is that, honestly, this is one of the most unique games I've ever played. That doesn't mean I like it, but it doesn't mean I don't like it. I don't know how to feel about this game. It's weird. It's a weird game. But it's unlike anything you've ever played, trust me. So I think it's worth trying. Give it a shot. It might not be for you, and that's perfectly fine. But if it is for you, then you might end up loving it. I said I'd only do 5 games, but I've recently been playing this next one, and now with the help of translators, you can too. And that game is Front Mission 5. It was a Japanese-only release, but it got an amazing English patch a few years back. And honestly, it feels like a real North American release. It's one of the best fan translations I've ever seen. It's so slick, so clean. It fits the game so well, you wouldn't even know if I didn't tell you. But anyway, if you're not familiar with the Front Mission series, it's amazing. It's a tactical turn-based JRPG with mechs. Now, don't let the JRPG label scare you. It's not a kid-friendly, we're gonna beat up the bad guys with the power of friendship kind of game. It's drenched in international politics, personal drama, and it's all super well written. To be upfront, I've only beaten Front Mission 4, but I'm currently playing 5, and I've heard 3 is the best, so I hope to get to that one soon. Oh, and the first 2 games, they got full remakes, so you can grab them for cheap on basically any platform. I just love the stories, especially in 4. It's mature and super engrossing, but the gameplay is great too, especially if you're into tactical RPGs, like Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem. Actually, it's a lot like Tactics now that I think about it. If you like that kind of story and gameplay, you'll probably love the Front Mission series. The gameplay has you customizing mechs for your party, and there's so much depth here. You can tweak everything: the body, the arms, the legs, the head, the weapons, all of it. And during combat, each limb has its own health bar. If you break an enemy's legs, well, now they can only move one space and they can't dodge anymore. Take out an arm, that arm's weapon is gone. There's also a ton of weapons. There's machine guns, missiles, and even some cool melee stuff like this weird piston fist thingy. And I love the little details. If you move before you attack, the game will actually show that in the zoomed in combat animation that plays. It's a great touch that's not even really necessary, but it just brings the game to life. Speaking of which, there's virtually no load times between the tactical map view and the actual combat animations. That was always a huge complaint for me in the Fire Emblem games, so I just love that it's not an issue here. You give a command, and boom, you're instantly in the action. But wait, there's more. Don't like animations at all? Skip them. Skip all of them. Cutscenes, dialogue, movement, combat, you can toggle it all on or off. They really went above and beyond for this game, which makes me extra sad that it was never brought to the US. Instead, what did we get? Evolved and Left Alive, two uniquely awful games. Thankfully, Front Mission 3, which again people say is the best one, is also getting a full remake this year, so I'm super excited. Now's the best time to jump into the series, and honestly, this might be my strongest recommendation on this entire list. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, why not subscribe? And if you want more retro PlayStation goodness, check out the other video on screen now. Love ya, bye!